I'd like to introduce Tess Herbert now. She's chair of the Beef Sustainability Framework. She's just finished a Masters of Business Ag at Melbourne Uni, focused a lot on innovation and extension, education around climate as well as food politics. Her husband and her run sheep, breed cattle and run 2 feedlots, and she's former chair of the Lot Feeders Association. Welcome to the stage, Tess.
Thank you for the introduction and thank you for the opportunity to present today. So, as introduced, I'm a beef producer from Central West New South Wales, Yagara. Big fan of intergenerational family farming. My children are 6th generation on their family farm. We also own land at Ladysmith near Wagga, so a little bit closer to here. I've been involved in the beef industry and in industry politics for about 10 years now. I was previously a director of RMAC, the Red Meat Advisory Council. When I left that position, RMAC had one particular project that I was really interested in, and that is this sustainability framework. The Red Meat Advisory Council is the chairs of all the peak industry councils, Cattle Council, the Lot Feeders, the Live Exporters, and the Meat Industry Council, and the Sheep and Goats guys are there as well. So what is the framework? To be clear, we're not a credentialing scheme, we're not an accreditation scheme, we're not an audit process. We're a national framework that measures industry indicators, over 50-odd indicators. We have 4 main pillars, the environment, animal welfare, people in the community, and economic resilience. Our definition and our vision is on the screen there for you. And look, apologies that I'm the only one with a PowerPoint, but I find this framework a really complicated animal. But it's important for me that, particularly if you're a beef producer in this room and you're paying $5 a head levy, that you have visibility over where some of that levy goes. So it's used, and some really strong connections with what Andrew was just saying, it's used to advise industry investment for continuous improvement, to help protect and grow access to investment and finance. It's to foster constructive relationships. We've recently had a University of Queensland report into our performance, and that said our external stakeholder engagement in particular was a highlight of the work that we do, and I'll talk a little bit more about that, particularly from in terms of investment in a minute. And it's used to promote industry transparency. That's one of our high-level principles that we adhere to. Very recently, we've undertaken what's called a materiality review. So we went out to our external and internal stakeholders and said to them, what is important to you? And they came back with a range of things. I'm actually going to skip over to the next slide to show you visually what they said. In the materiality findings, you'll see that what was most important was, again, compared to how the industry can impact that. So up in the far right-hand corner is what's most important and whether the beef industry can have an impact on that. So obviously the things that came out, animal welfare in particular, but then also appearing as highly material to our stakeholders was the environment. So in particular, you can see 15, 12, 13, 14 there, which are around ground cover, biodiversity, soil health, are very important to our stakeholders. And those stakeholders include investors, banks, NGOs like World Wildlife Fund, the Wilderness Society. It includes RSPCA. It includes the retailers as well, the major retailers. They're all the people that we went out to ask all these questions, as well as industry stakeholders. So that's the work that will inform where the framework puts our energy. There are a number of companies that currently reference the framework in their own ESG reporting, and some of those are on the screen just as examples, but there are a number of others, including Greenhams, who I think may be involved in this couple of days. So Woolworths, NAPCO, the Northern Australian Pastoral Company, and a member of NAPCO was on our previous steering group, Stephen Moore, who captained the Wallabies, and that gave us a lot of media interest for a while. He's since left us though. The steering group that I chair has representatives from across the supply chain, from grass-fed producers, grain-fed producers, live export and the meat processing sector. So finally, just some of the people asking questions. It's becoming unusual now for companies not to be asked to prove about more than just the economic. So that's the space we're now existing in. Our framework is used in free trade agreements, it's used by government, it's used by investors, it's used by companies, it's used by our customers in particular. This is our 2020 update. Our 2021 update, all 80 pages of this one, will be launched at Beef Australia in May, and we'll have reports of trends in time over those indicators. Again, thank you for your time, and more than happy to answer any questions about this really important piece of work for the beef industry.